cannot believe this. Like, I done lost a wink of sleep because of this shenanigans. Like, you gotta think about your kids when you got a country to give foreign.
That's the thing. That's the problem. They ain't thinking, girl. If they were thinking, you think they would do this? Never. Here we go. We're live on YouTube. I can't wait till I get 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I swear to God.
I can't wait to just get $1 million.
Yeah, she's like, 1 million subscribers. Let's just get. Okay, here we go live on recording.
Recording in progress.
Everybody. All right, all right. All right, welcome everybody here behind the scenes with your girl AniYa, and we are about to launch on that good old social media on Facebook. Welcome and good evening, good evening, good evening. It's been a long day, and we just got some late breaking, disturbing news that we will be talking about in just a few moments. So bear with us and tell a friend wherever you are, because this topic can be addressed. You know what I mean? So give us 1 second.
Don't mention the website until tomorrow because there are certain things I want us to go through.
We just not today. We just gonna launch. It's all right. I'm telling you, ain't nobody going through all that. Girl, just launch it today, and tomorrow we
What
can
was
go.
out in the open?
Yeah,
People.
already put it out there that we launching the website.
Oh, today.
Girl, look, Alexis. You and me. You are such a perfectionist. I get it.
No,
I know. Yes, yes. Look, today it's gonna be on fire. It's gonna be. I promise you. I promise. Hi, Miss Lady C. Oh my God, I was supposed to call you back, Miss Lady CC. Miss Lady C. I was supposed to call you back. Please forgive me. Or were you supposed to call me back? I'm not 100% sure. We are live. Oh, you need the flyer, I think, for your son. For your sons. Don't worry. I will get that over. Or did I DM you yet? Please let me know if I DM'd you. We are live. Oh, she's saying hello with a heart.
Hey.
Miss Lady C in Florida, but her sons are in New York City.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Look, she had to get out of New York. Girl, anything we have to do for that website, too? Anything else? Tomorrow. I just want to get it out there.
What was out in the
Yeah. Because look, we're studying this stuff. Oh, hey, people are watching already. Welcome. Hey. All All right. We're back for another live episode. Listen, all. I know we were supposed to be launching at 8:30 p.m., but forgive your girl AniYa. It's one of them days, and we just got late breaking news, and we had to get some more information too, so that we came and shared this story with all of you tonight. It's a story that's actually heartbreaking, which happens to quite a few women in the United States, and I'm pretty sure it happens to some men as well. But we're going to get into that in just a moment. So tell a friend you're live here on the AniYa show, and we'll be right back. My girl, my girl Queen Ocean has her own music she's launching, so that's good. All right, everybody. We're back. We are back. It's another beautiful Monday evening. It's another beautiful Monday evening. First, let me shout out to my girl Queen Ocean, who's watching, who says she started recording her own music. I'm so proud of her because at the end of the day, this is very serious when you take that step and you literally do something that you're passionate about. And knowing Queen Ocean, she's going to put all of her energy into doing her thing with her music. So I'm so excited for her and for everybody else that's going to be watching on this thing. Thank you so much in advance for tuning in and letting people know that we have a very important topic to talk about. It's Motivational Mondays, as you all are aware. And one of the things that happens on this platform is we talk about things that happen presently, like literally. I just got this really late breaking story, and it touched me so much because this is a story and a situation that happens in so many women's lives, right? In 2022. And what I've realized is we don't talk about it enough. And if you're wondering, it's literally the name of the topic for tonight. It's here live on this platform. And I'm literally sharing a story about a sister who had a BBL. And for those that don't know what a BBL is, it's a Brazilian butt lift, right? And she had other things done to her body. And I want to say, she had, I don't know, tummy, a lot going on.
She had weight loss surgery and didn't inform the doctor.
So she had weight loss. Breaking news, guys. So I'm getting it from the source herself, who's sharing this with us. Literally, this young lady who's only like 34, 35, I want to say, had a weight loss surgery. So I'm assuming what, like a gastric of the
So
sort.
she could meet the BMI to get the BBL.
So she could meet the BMI to get the BBL. And shortly after having the weight loss surgery, she went ahead and did not inform the doctors and went ahead and had the BBL. And with those type of procedures, sometimes they want to know if you want to do other things. So we're not even 100% sure, right? At this point, if it was just a BBL, if it was like the arm surgery, if it was like the boobie, surgery where they go in and they enhance your breast. But what we do know is the BBL was a part of it. And literally the person, the doctor who did the BBL and who did the questions. And if they did, the young lady in question, the young lady who has lost her life, did not really do her part to inform the doctor that she just had this weight loss surgery, y'all. So right now we're seeing that another beautiful it's breaking my girl's heart here. She's not coming on live tonight, but she has shared this story with us, and we're just going to keep this young lady in prayer. Her name is Shakari Love. Shakari Love, let us keep her and her family in prayer. Well, she's deceased already, but we could keep her family in prayer for sure. And she has behind quite a few kids, I want to say. I don't know exactly how many kids, are her children. And where was the surgery done? Oh, fancy. Welcome. The surgery was done in the Dominican Republic, from what we know now. And this just happened, I want to say within the past 2 weeks, right? Within the past 2 weeks. Oh, week. Within the past week, 34, 35-year-old is now deceased. This surgery just occurred in the DR. And the reason we're bringing it up because I had another show topic for tonight. So welcome, tell a friend that you're live with your girl AniYa. And I had another show topic that I wanted to discuss, and it was about motherhood and childbearing and things like that. And I wanted to see like what tips you mothers have out there, right, for beautiful women like myself who are going to give birth, who are stepping into this role. And then when I heard this story, I said, you know what? Let me talk about this because we have to remotivate ourselves in 2022 to love ourselves enough. Like, and it's funny because this young lady, she's a mother. She probably didn't feel comfortable with her body. I listened to some recordings, in regards to this whole situation. And one of the things this one sister said was, the whole body image thing. We as Black women, especially, we have a very hard time with the body image situation. And we're live on Zoom, by the way. So if anybody wants join me live on Zoom, please feel free to join us right now. I'm going to put the invitation information on because I want to hear from you ladies out there tonight, because it's a serious situation that we're going through. K Michelle recently, came forward, if you will, like recently, but K Michelle came forward years ago, and she talked about the dangers that she experienced with her BBL and her situation. And one of the things I'll never forget that she shared, for example, is the fact that she was in competition basically with herself. A lot of times people get it misconstrued. A lot of times people that are on the outside think, oh, they're trying to catch men or they want to get men's attention. And one of the things that I've noticed in this world that we live in is that women do what they do in regards to these surgeries, especially these really outlandish surgeries in this century we're in this time we're in, because they're in competition with themselves. It's not even about getting a man, keeping a man, or anything. To literally look women a lot of times and saying to themselves like they could be better, they want to look a certain way, they want to fit a personification, an image, and that's why they do what they do. And it's sad because a lot of times our Black women especially, they go into situations that they don't understand. They go into different countries that don't speak the language. They don't speak the language, they don't know what's going on, and they literally put their lives in danger. Today, this beautiful woman is deceased. And if you now and talk about how you feel about the situation and any other stories you've heard, by the way, don't get it twisted. There's a lot of women out there. I know a few women, by the way, who have gotten these surgeries done. Thankfully, they have made it, though. They have made it alive. But a lot of times women do not make it alive. So if you want to talk about this, join us now, 436-903-4585. I am putting that information now. Again, it's 436-903-4585. To join us right now. Join us right now, and just let us hear your opinions about this situation. So, sing live here, live for all of you beautiful and sexy individuals, live on the AniYa show. Live on the AniYa show, we are discussing, and this sister was beautiful. I'm not going to put a picture out there, as this, but just know that I saw her picture and some of her posts and things of that nature, and it's disheartening. And again, my prayers go out to her family, as the people that are in her circle, because apparently this is a very, really hard time. But you can join us live, Zoom, join Zoom meeting now, join 1 second, join us now. So do not go to the Dominican Republic. I'm not saying don't go to the Dominican Republic, but apparently I'm gonna put the doctor's name out. I should. I'm going to put the doctor's name out there. Please do me a favor, pull that doctor's information again, so we can put that doctor's name on here for all those that are wondering, because this is a very, very wicked doctor for not doing
But
their
I,
work.
I've actually had a plastic surgeon doctor tell me that if the DR, put it like this.
Do you want to come on here? Because I don't want you to be over there and then they're not seeing you or hearing you because you're speaking very low. Oh, we got a viewer. We have somebody that's coming on right now. My sister. What about the DR?
You want to spell out the name?
Oh, DE. Wait 1 second. I'm putting something out. And we got a caller, a viewer that is joining us live now. So I'm so happy. Welcome, 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 sis. Can you hear me okay? All right. So how do I edit this and then for it to go public? Create post. Did I do it? I did it. I did it. Is it live? It is live. Okay, enable. Can you hear me okay? 1 second.
I hear you. I was trying to turn off my camera. I done put my curlers in my hair already.
I love it. I love it. Yes, honey. Well, talk to us. Tell us how you feel about this. Fancy interested in the topic, and we want to hear from you tonight.
I definitely think my experience of research with having plastic surgery, and I think a few years ago I was like obsessed that I was going to go to the DR, and I looked up and I researched so many doctors. And after reading about some of the doctors, there's a few of them that actually travel to come to the United States and perform the surgeries in other spaces. That's banned. He cannot come to the U.S. because they found out that he was doing this. There's another female doctor that I know from many people that have gone. When they go into the surgery, she's supposed to be the one conducting the surgery. However, in between the surgery process, they would kind of open up their eyes and be up a little bit, and she would not be in the room.
Wow.
So it's been, and I have a friend who went and she did the BL, and after I believe a month of coming back to the States, she was experiencing pain, and when she went into the emergency room, and it's emergency. Because most doctors in the U.S. will not touch you.
Oh yeah.
If you tell them that you've had surgery in you had a partial collapsed lung.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was serious. And then I think part of what happened is there because supposedly it is supposed to be cheaper.
Yep.
However, when they go there, there's no real guidelines that in DR have to follow.
Absolutely.
So that's the issue. They take out as much fat as they want to take out for you to be shapely like a doll.
Yep.
And so they drink what's too much, because once they've taken out, that means you're at risk for needing a blood transfusion, which is a lot of what happens sometimes.
Yes.
The young ladies need blood transfusion. So then you also have to consider, how has the blood been tested?
Yes.
You're talking about traveling to a third world country to have surgery. So the blood coming from, what type of process do they have to follow to make sure that the blood is clean and it can be used? What's the storage process for the blood that they're using? And then you have to pay additional money for pain medication and the drugs that you have to take while they're conducting the surgery. So that's another concern too, that a lot of young ladies stepping into it, they don't understand about the additional payments that have to be done. So there's a lot of risk factors. And the sad situation is that it's brought us to a point where we want to look like even the people that look like TV don't look like it, if you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And I've seen is shaped in order to fit her a certain way. Sure that that is posted of her, she has to approve it.
What?
Or does not make it into a magazine.
You're kidding me. So it's not just
No.
Photoshop anymore. It's Illusion Clothing. It's a lot more.
Yes, definitely. Her images will not make it to a magazine unless she approves it.
Oh my God. So let me ask you this. So Fancy, we have another caller joining us. So welcome. And I know Alexis had something that she wanted to share as well. In the interim, real quick, the doctor's name is Dr. Decina, and I will try to get more people should stay away from. But let me ask you, what was the turning point for you, my sister Fancy, when you decided, okay, I'm not going to do this surgery anymore? Because you said you were looking into, you just one day decided, oh no, this is not for you.
Well, I think for me, the language barrier is a big issue.
Absolutely.
Traveling to a third world country is one issue, and then the fact that you're not able to communicate with them. When you're having this type of surgery, you're away.
Exactly.
So this, right? And that's what's by right away. How much time are you actually going to take? And then they have these centers now, that the rehab centers that you go into in order to recuperate.
Yep.
So that's another concern, right? Another health concern. How clean, how sanitary are these locations? You know, and can you actually trust these people that are supposed to take care of you? So I think there's factors to consider. Being the overthinker that I am.
Haitian mother who's probably gonna choke me after anyway. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
If I make it through, God willing, now I have to, definitely jeopardize my life. Listen, I know exactly, girl, we've talked about this. We're on the same page. My God. And it's so interesting because you say, welcome, Gary. We have a lot of people watching right now, sending your messages and your concerns. We are talking to Miss Fancy. She's an entrepreneur and educator, and she's an individual, human. We love her here on the AniYa show. And this evening, we're talking about a very serious situation in regards to these BBLs and all of these other surgeries that women are going to take overseas. They're literally jeopardizing their lives by taking this risk. It's a huge risk. A lot of women not only health risks at first, they forget that there are so many barriers, like Fancy is saying, the traveling. So here's one thing. I think they say you're supposed to not be able to fly for like 3 weeks. 3 weeks you have to be, because otherwise that stuff that's inside of the body will seep and it will go into all sorts of uncanny places. So that's one. So you're absolutely right about that. The language barrier is another huge facet. And when people think about it, they don't really think about it because they're just looking at the outcome. So for those that are joining us now, send in your comments, or if you want to join us, click on to Zoom 436-903. What did I tell y'all the number was again? Hold on. It's 436-903-4585 for Zoom. 436-903-4585. There's no password if you want to join us now. Christine, all the way from England, you can join us now. Republic, welcome. He's in the Dominican Republic from Haiti, so he probably sees a ton of this. So there are a tremendous amount of health issues. Number one that we just discussed, language barriers, right? And then there's this whole racism thing. So I wanted to ask you, Fancy, we live in New York City. The Dominican Republic already has an issue with dark-colored women to begin with, or Black people. Do you think that there is a higher risk of infection and issues, maybe because of the color as well, like the colorist thing? Because I've seen it so much when it comes to us Black women, hence why I'm doing a documentary about Black women's health disparities. When our plight, our issues, when we complain about pain, they are not taken seriously. So I was wondering if you see in your line of work or personally, Fancy, what do you think about that whole colorism situation?
In terms of
them traveling to DR? You feel like they're not getting good treatment based on their skin color?
Yes, like because that could be another issue when Black women travel to these countries, for example, not just the DR, like you have Colombia too. The Colombians, I feel, may be less colorist, but I definitely see the colorism issue in the Dominican Republic a lot, not just with Haiti, but with Black in general. Welcome, Steph. Welcome. Play a factor, or have you had any thoughts about?
I just think that what's going on is I've seen a lot of sisters that have patients like high blood pressure and diabetes. So besides being overweight, a lot of them actually have health issues, right? And the doctors here in the United States that you're in DR or in other places that will accept us at this large weight. So because they get that approval, then they'll go out to these areas. But the approval to the surgery in these other countries does not mean that your life at no risk, that your risk of doubled because you have high blood pressure, because you're overweight, because perhaps you went to the doctor and your doctor told you no. Like this young lady that you're speaking about tonight, if she had weight loss surgery, chances are after weight loss surgery, you have to follow a very strict diet.
Yes, you do.
So you're not allowed to really take in heavy foods. You're on liquids.
Absolutely.
So once you're on liquids, your body is already in shock. Okay, so your body's in shock because of the drastic surgery. That's A. B, your body's in shock because you've totally changed your eating habits. You're drinking liquids. Even before surgery, they tell you you're only allowed liquids, right? Because you have to get your body prepared. So after surgery, you're only supposed to take in liquids. Now that means most likely you might have been anemic at that point because, that's what tends to happen to people after weight loss surgery. You become anemic.
Yes.
You're very tired. You're weak. Right? So all your levels might be very off. And so she traveled and then she went to go have surgery. So there's a lot of things for us to consider. She went there probably in probably the worst health ever, because after surgery, it's supposed kind of eat again, lost surgery. So if she went there and had another drastic surgery, I mean, it's a recipe for disaster, honestly speaking. Think about any minor surgery you've had, how your body feels like it has to fight to find its way back. But gastric bypass or even the stomach band or any one of those things, it's drastic.
Everything that, like you're saying, is so true. And here's a moment of truth. I actually had the weight loss surgery. I had a gastric bypass because of my rare condition, and my body has a swelling condition. And I never really talk about it because I hate being judged, but it's because of my health condition that I have, right? And the doctors literally were like, you might have to have this surgery. And I was scared to death because I did not know like what was going to happen to me, and I've had so many surgeries. Like I didn't have anything for like weight before or anything like that. But because of me, being diagnosed with this super rare condition, I lived in the hospital for 3 months. I've had every other surgery, tonsillectomies, blood transfusions. Speaking of blood transfusions, I've had, I think, 2 or 3 blood transfusions. I didn't know that they were happening because I probably would have been like, no, don't do it. But I was dead. I was like, gone from this earth. They had to do something to get me back or whatever. So I've had the blood transfusions, which still freaks me out because I don't know whose blood is inside of me, but apparently it's okay. I've had issues with kidney. I've had almost everything you could think of. And then I had to have toe surgery because of some stupid ingrown toe thing. I mean, you name it. Oh, I had a pick put in. So there's a little scar here. I don't know if you can see it. A little scar right there. For those that are watching, I have this little scar. In and they put this a needle into your heart directly to pump drugs in and then to remove blood out, because my body could not take any more punctures because one of my conditions is not having enough. My blood is very thick, So it's coagulated. To make my blood thin, they had to pump me with 3 different types of blood thinners every day. So because my factor for my blood thickening again could cause another blood clot, they had to go in and give me 4 times a day, y'all. You don't even know at that point. They went and did a PICC line surgery, which is, I think, one of the most deadly surgeries, because if they make one move outside of that, it goes inside to the heart. I say all that to say, so when my condition came back, and like the I could not lose the weight naturally because of condition, my kidney shutting down and things of that nature. And then my breasts were so big at one point they would choke me in my sleep. I can't even sleep anymore. So I had an extreme case of swelling and discomfort and sleep apnea. Anybody with apnea, like you breathe or you don't breathe or something while you're sleeping, you could die like that too. So I say that to say, I know exactly what I went through after the whole procedure of having the gastric bypass. And it literally was one of the most painful things ever. But also everything you're saying, my dear sister Fancy, is so accurate. Not only do you have half of a stomach, but you cannot intake anything. Like you're constantly throwing up. Because even if you have the surgery, your eye still looks at food like that looks so good right now. I want to eat something, and you smell the smells. Your nose and your mouth broken. It's your stomach that constantly craving food and drinks. And even though you can't eat a lot, but you're still craving a lot of liquid and things like that. So you try to supplement, and you try to have like ice cream or something like jellos and things of that nature, but your stomach is still like this big. So what you're saying is so true. And then you have to take a ton of vitamins because you're losing a lot of natural vitamins in your body and things like that. So what happens is you have a lot of issues because you're losing energy, like you're saying, Sister Fancy. You're losing energy, you're losing everything. Hair. A lot of women actually experience hair loss because yes, they don't have the nutrients coming in their bodies because you can't intake anything. So you're losing hair. Thankfully, I never lost hair. I have a whole set of hair. This is not me, guys. This is a nice little wig I put together. But I have a whole lot of hair. I never lost hair. Thank you, Jesus. But I've seen women who lost hair because of it. Some women have ended up in the hospital repeatedly because they would literally try to eat and then that would bust something inside of them. And then they were back to square one with emergency surgeries and things of that nature. Or they would drink too much and then they would throw up everything and be dehydrated. So with this particular situation, she went into this other procedure, and that could have also caused what you call a puncturing or even blood. She could have lost a ton of blood because she wasn't healed.
And the thing about it is they tried to blame the doctor. Well, the doctor should have known.
The
doctor's in another country. The doctor can't make a request for your medical records from another country.
They can, but ready for this? But there's also a HIPAA form, right, that they're supposed to sign and say, I give the doctor full consent. So it's so many different issues. Did she do that? And that's the other part, because if she's him knowing, she would never tell him, oh, by the way, you should probably, I should probably sign your HIPAA form, or I should sign this release of documents, because that would automatically show the doctor. So so it's a whole thing. But here's where I do give the doctor fault, right? Before you go to any surgeries, you should try to do more investigating, because here's the thing about this, right? Like I could talk about myself. When I go into the doctor's offices, they look at me from head to toe. Like doctors literally watch you and look at your progress or look at your body and examine you. So was she even examined is the question, because a lot of times they want that money. And I feel like maybe he didn't do a thorough investigation to figure out what she saw. Because another thing, when you have that lipo, or like even I had the gastric bypass, you're constantly in pain. So you walk in the room and people be like, are you okay? Your color ain't right. Something don't look like, something does not look right with you. Is everything okay? I've walked into rooms and I just had to sit down, like I can't do anything. I can't breathe. Yes, I was looking great because I was losing the weight again. Seriously, when you look at somebody that first has surgery, like Fancy was saying too, there's a whole lot of issues there. So we're taking more questions and concerns. Fancy, what else do you want to add, my dear? Because we got a comment.
I like Fancy.
Yes, Fancy is very knowledgeable. Before Fancy responds, I don't really think they have a color problem. They just take you based on your citizenship and your money. Again, that's exactly it. If you have the money to pay them, that's why I said with the doctor too. Did they do a thorough investigation on whether or not this young lady had anything else going on before they proceeded to do the surgery? If they're money hungry, more than likely not going to do it because they're like, you know what, she's good to go. She got her money. Now she looks pretty okay. Let's go for it because the young lady obviously probably did not share on her end as well. So Kim says you sound knowledgeable.
I think I'd like to add that I'm not saying that you're the worst person if you want to have any type of surgery that you feel that will help you to feel better about yourself.
Absolutely
There's nothing wrong with that. Honestly speaking, I'm for it. You know, if you're a female that thinks you want to have, your stomach done because, you don't, maybe the big stomach makes you feel uncomfortable. You want to be a little hotter and sexier, and that's okay. I'm not knocking those women. I just think it's really important for you to get as much information as possible and to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a dangerous situation, because then it's really not it. But I'm not knocking any type of plastic surgery. Trust me, I'm here for it.
Honey, you and me both. Like I said, I'm here for it as well. And the thing about me is like, I can't knock anybody because I know so many women. Now, I'm not putting any names out there, but girl AniYa knows quite a few sisters that have done surgeries. But again, they were knowledgeable the right way. Always disclose the information, and they literally were able to get the doctors in the right way so that they didn't have an issue. Because what happens is you don't disclose that information and something happens to you and they're not held liable. So here's another thing about that. The doctor in question may not even be able to get sued because it's not necessarily a malpractice unless they find something that he did inappropriate. And it's very difficult to sue doctors in 2022. I don't know if y'all are aware of this, by the way. Malpractice is not easy anymore. I think back in the day, the doctor made one mistake and they were like, oh, okay, you could sue him or her, and then you'll be able to catch all these coins. And furthermore, you'll be able to, and they will lose their licensing. I just saw a report recently that had me baffled, whereas the doctors now are so protected by their insurances, away with it and get a lot of compensation because they are heavily protected at this point. So not only do you have the HIPAA thing with, the information, but you also have the fact that it's very hard to sue these doctors. And I agree with you, Nancy. I am for a sister getting everything done that she can, but be careful. We've seen a lot of stories with women, especially women of color, who go into dangerous situations. Hell, some women literally go into like basements and like storage room closets and get silicone shoved into their booties for the bigger butt thing. And guess what? They end up sick and dying. There's been so many stories like that. And then one prime example again is K. Michelle. If y'all haven't seen nothing else, check out K. Michelle's story and what she went through, because that was very disheartening.
And for me, I think if you're having surgery, do it for yourself.
Yes.
Let it not be because a man is pushing you to do it. Let it not be because, you're trying to look as good as the women that really don't look like that. I mean, if it's for yourself and it's going to help your self-esteem, maybe it's for your career too. Some women, they have a certain job where they need to look a certain way. That's fine.
Right.
But of course, again, it has to be safety first. It
safety
really does.
First.
And I think for us, Black women, we do have it really hard. I mean, we're no longer just competing with other Black women. Now, we have white women that's also having these BBLs. Okay, don't get it twisted. It's gotten to a point where Kim K is also pushing white women out there to get butts.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Well, yes, that's the new society we're in. Because here's another thing, ladies and gents that are watching. A lot of times what we're seeing is that our sisters are not just in competition again with other women, but they're looking at social media, for example. They're looking at social media. Welcome, Jean Joseph. They're looking at social media and they're hating the gift that God gave them, which is number one, life, but number two, their bodies. And again, I'm not ashamed of what I went through because I had a medical problem and I literally went through this surgery because I was advised to do so. And when I hit a certain amount of weight, it was because my organs were not functioning correctly. So again, ladies, for those that are watching this evening, know I'm with you. I'm with the health thing because yes, sometimes it's a physical appearance, but 9 times out of 10, once we get to a certain weight, once we get to a certain BMI, for those that don't know what a BMI is, I think it's the body mass index, correct, Fancy?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
When you reach a certain BMI, now your body starts to do different things and you can actually end up with diabeticals. I call it diabeticals. Y'all call it diabetes, whatever, the sugars. And then we also have the issue where sometimes we end up with diabetes. We end up with high blood pressure. We can end up with a number of medical problems if we're not careful. So the main factor is being very careful no matter what. We have a few comments. Hold on real quick. We have Pamela Clark from Cheetahwaga, Buffalo. Welcome, sister. She says, and it is still makes me hungry. I don't know what still makes you hungry. That's why I don't go to them gyms. Every time I come out of the gym, I'm hungrier than ever. And yes, I go eat. I love Pam for her honesty. Thank you, sister. Hey, your voice is sounding real deep voice. Oh, wow. Sorry. Is that my voice that you're hearing real deep? I don't know if it's the way that this is configured. Shout out to my sister Natalie. Natalie Placide Riboul seems to be here with us tonight. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in. And of course, Christina Hollings from England is just chatting away here with great messages. Christine, jump on live if you can, and we'll accept you. Christine has been on hormones for quite a few years. I've supposedly achieved a cup right on. Collaborating with a trans woman. How do I join from here? D is for Dominican. To transition, you have to be a certain weight. So Christine, just to let you all know, is a trans woman who has gone through the procedure. I don't think she's gone through the procedure. She's still working on it, I think. But she can share her story for sure with all of you. I don't discriminate. I'm very open with people that I feel have a story to share. But Christine has been taking hormones and things like that. But yes, right. So do you agree, Fancy? A lot of times women also, or people that are a certain weight, they end up with a lot of different health conditions and problems if they don't check that weight. What do you think about that, Fancy?
Definitely, and I think African Americans are at a higher disposition for getting high blood pressure and diabetes. Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, think about the rich foods that we eat.
Absolutely.
The stress level. Stress has a lot to do with it. So yes, stress and the rich, delicious foods that we eat contribute to the diabetes and the high blood pressure. Definitely. Lack of sleep. Mm-hmm. Also, I think people don't realize how important sleep is. You talked about sleep apnea before. A large number of people suffer from sleep apnea and they don't even know it, that they stop breathing during the night. Mm-hmm. So what happens is, even though they go to sleep early, sometimes they're not sleeping throughout the night because they wake up several times because they stop breathing. Absolutely. And so their sleep pattern is broken up. It's not restful sleep. They very seldomly get to REM sleep. So that means their body is still not getting the correct amount of rest. So yeah, that plays a role into the diabetes and the high blood pressure as well.
Absolutely.
So definitely, it's harder for us. I think sometimes we get stuck on the image, yes, on the outside, and not realize on the inside we need to take care of ourselves. Making sure that the blood pressure is okay, the diabetes is okay, because then your heart is affected. Mm-hmm. Then you run risk at having strokes. I'm hearing so many scenarios now where people that didn't even know they had high blood pressure are having strokes.
Young people. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Another thing is the young people are having these conditions. With my condition, it came on, I was 25 years old. And again, I'm free to talk about this because of the work that I do. This is going to be a part of my documentary. And how did I overcome? I knew my body wasn't working correctly. However, my mind always worked correctly. So I was constantly on this journey like, okay, there were no symptoms before I got sick as to why this could happen. I'm super rare. And the doctors, yes, absolutely. And the doctors literally did not know where it came from. And they're thinking I should be okay with the fact that I'm para rare. I'm not okay with that. I still don't know what happened in, 2007 at 25 when I fell ill. Before you leave, Alexis, is there anything you want to share before you leave about this story and everything going on? We have 4 people that's on with us now. We have people that are watching on Instagram and on Facebook.
Just do extensive research.
Do extensive research.
Just extensive research and just be honest.
Be honest.
Be honest. Don't go in saying that you're perfectly fine, you haven't had anything done, and you have. Just be completely honest.
Be transparent.
Yes.
Because you could save your own life. And yes. that's the main takeaway. We want to make sure that people understand that, because this is a health risk. It's a safety risk. There's a lot of risks associated and affiliated with these procedures. Mm-hmm. So if you're watching now, understand that it's not something that we're telling you we're against. Ain't nobody said we're against it.
No, not at all.
Not at all. You want to have these procedures done, by all means, have your procedure done.
But just like
feel
any
great.
Other procedure, you have to be honest. It's just like any other medical procedure.
Absolutely. Even when it comes to toothache, for crying out loud, when you go to a dentist, there's things that they ask you. Did you have a pre-existing health condition? Is your heart okay? Do you have diabeticals? If people got to read and they have to do their research. So thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. And let me tell you something. We're going to do what we can to continue to watch this story and see what happens from here, because this situation has gone far left with this family and this young lady. So thank you, Miss Alexis. And we'll talk later.
Yeah, I'll
call me. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
You call me because
yeah.
I'm going to text you when I get home.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead. Go ahead, my love. All right. See you tomorrow or talk later. Exactly. Go ahead, girl. So yes, that was Miss Alexis. She's my right-hand woman here on the AniYa show and FEG management. I mean, honestly, like, this story is not a new story, but the reason we're covering it this evening is because we've literally seen such a sad situation happen before our eyes. Apparently this happened in a community that beautiful Alexis knows about, and she actually knew this young woman, and it's just so painful because this young woman left behind little children, and apparently her mother is still in the DR trying to pull the pieces together. So one of the things that we want you to be aware of too, fam, is that when you go into these situations, remember, you're not alone in this world. I love what you said, Fancy. You know, my Haitian mother, or you said mother, but I know it's your Haitian mother, would literally have a fit if you came back from the DR having one of these surgeries and something happened to you. You know, God forbid, something would have happened to you. How would you have explained that to your mother? Like, oh my God, I know I probably shouldn't have had this surgery, but I kind of went over there and now I'm in a lot of trouble. So these are things that we have to be aware of and concerned about when we're taking these steps, because we're not islands. We're here in communities. We're definitely not in silos. We are here amongst others, and we have to keep that in mind, that if something happens to you and it's because of some kind of, situation where you just want to be cute, or whatever, yeah, be cute, but just understand that you have a family and you have friends that care about you. And that's the most painful part. Pamela Clark says they said if they do it naturally, it's called do it in the butt, but they have to know how to do it right. You know what? I'm so down with Pam. Pam is a mess. Do it in the butt out. Sexy, sexy. Remember that song from like 1982? Maybe 1980. I don't know exactly when it was, but that was a great, great song many years ago. Fancy, what else would you like to share? Because I wanted to surprise the community, and I would love for you to stick around so I could share our surprise. What else did you want to share in regards to this subject, Miss Fancy?
I think we have to kind of, as women, just take a look at what it is that allows us to feel so desperate to look a certain way that we're willing to die for it, and that's what scares me. in terms of this sister that knows she just had major surgery, right, to lose weight. And so the losing weight was going to happen for her, right? Because once you have that surgery, you leave the hospital like 20 pounds smaller, you know? So what is it about her and how she was feeling inside that made her really, really need to go to DR? It's these images that play over and over on Instagram, these images over and over on Facebook, the videos. After a while, the trick that it plays on the mind, that's why, I mean, at times for me, I have to step away from the phone.
Yeah.
I have to literally walk away because I cannot open up the phone without someone twerking, without someone being basically naked, you know, on my IG page. So it can be a bit overwhelming, and it can make you feel like, you know, like you're just not good enough. You know, so how do we get to the point where we allow each other to know that you are good enough?
You know what? That's actually such. Oh, sorry to cut you off, Nancy. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying that, you know, I think that's one of the major points that Kate Michelle had made as well. You know, that she had to get to a point where she realized that she was good enough. You know, and these surgeries get addictive. You know, that's the next thing too. It's like you go there once, you go twice, you go 3 times, and it's never enough because you develop dysmorphic disorder where in your head you still see yourself looking a certain way. You know, so you're constantly seeing this big person that you're not happy with, despite all the surgery you have, when the problem is mental over everything else.
And you can't fix the mental until you really dig deep and figure out why are you behaving this way. And like you said, turning off the phone is a huge factor. I remember when I was very young, I think like preteen or teen or what have you, and I was hanging out with a good friend of mine, very good looking guy. And I had to be in my teenage years. I was already in high school. And we were at the mall hanging out and all of that. And he really made me see something. He said one day, you know, he was with his girlfriend and they were hanging out. And then all of a sudden, this, you know, chick walks by. He's like, yeah, Naya, she was cute or whatever. But he said that his girlfriend at the time literally broke her damn neck just to stare at this woman and just like, you know, like observe her basically from head to toe type deal. And he, for the life of him, couldn't figure it out. He's like thinking to himself, he's with her. He thinks she's pretty cute and hot or whatever, but she's so insecure. She's staring at this other chick. And it dawned on him at that moment that females don't necessarily do what they do for men's attention. It's something internal, and that they're constantly in competition with other women. So I think he made such a valuable point. Again, I was in high school when this thing happened, when I realized, excuse me, first of all, Joey wasn't an idiot. I thought he was a real big idiot, but whatever. He wasn't that dumb and he wasn't that slow. And that observation literally stuck with me until now. And I'm still thinking about that day, because when we look at the society we're in, because back then we didn't even have social media. Yeah, I'm a lot older than I look, people, okay? Back then we didn't have social media, so we had magazines then. We had a few images on television. I'm not saying we had like a ton of images on television. However, we had enough, you know, to make us want to look like the glamour girls, to make us want to go out in bikinis, like that one show with Pamela Anderson. I can't remember the name of that show, but you know, some of those things did affect us just a little bit. For me, it wasn't too much because I looked at like the Oprahs and the Maya Angelou's, and they never were naked. They were plus size or, you know, just firm, beautiful sisters. But that generation to now, things have drastically changed so bad. And I really don't see myself ever wanting to have a little girl because of how this generation is and how it'll turn a precious and innocent child into something we don't recognize because of all of these influences. But Joey Perez, if you ever listen to my show, I know I haven't seen you and spoken with you for decades or what have you, but I'll never forget that life lesson, because in a very short minute or two, you made me realize that we as women are not necessarily doing what we do against, or for men's attention, a lot of times it's something internal, and then it becomes a competitive thing when it comes to the men, the other women that are around us. So I don't know what it's going to take for us to change this behavior. I think in my mind, Fancy, women just have to learn to love themselves no matter what. I think also, and people are probably going to come for me for this statement, but I don't care. Like, there's a certain artist that I hate very much, but I'm going to quote him. He was also a Haitian president, and I hate him so much. I don't care who says what, but he says, "I don't care. I don't give a damn." Yeah, Sweet Mickey. I hate that man with a passion, but that is literally how I feel about this topic. When it comes to us as women, we have to have that attitude, and we also have to be able to help young ladies, especially, recognize their worth at a very young age. And I say that because I think too that having parents in the home is a huge factor. When you have a male and a female in a home, I know you guys are going to get at me because there's this whole LGBTQ C395 69 situation. Why would you say that, AniYa? We could have two men in a home and raise a child just fine, or we could have two women in a family and raise a child just fine. Agreed, totally. But it's in my personal opinion that having a man and a woman in a home really helps the child identify with their ways of life and their futures. That's just me. Fancy, would you like to share anything about that?
I think I am really working on being very open-minded, or a little more open-minded. Ideally, I was raised to think of a home with a mom and a dad. However, I don't know much homes that have a mom and a dad, right? So I think society has changed overall, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have a lot of homes, Black families with moms and dads around. So yes, society has taken even more turns where now it's a lot of people, they don't fit, quote unquote, in that box anymore of being a male or a female. Some people don't want a title. I remember the first Zoom meeting I was in, and they asked me what pronoun.
Yes.
what pronoun do I want to use? And I'm a ESL teacher, but I'm like, what?
What is this about?
What do you mean, what pronoun? I'm like, I was so taken back. And then I realized, you know what? I guess it is a very sensitive topic for people that may be struggling with not feeling like they're in the right body. Like in my head, I should have been a man. And I think, you know what, in my head, I should have been a man for real. I think sometimes it's too hard being female. But
absolutely.
So if you're going through this thing where in your head you feel like you were meant to be a man, but your body has taken the form of a female. So the internal conflict that somebody must be experiencing, and that's just one example. But, you have many other, things where, I think I'm supposed to like a guy, but I really feel like I need to be with a girl. My culture doesn't allow it. So the battles and the struggles, and I have a cousin that actually was gay, and he's still gay, but this is, in the 90s where it wasn't so cool to be gay.
At all.
Gay, you had to keep that life in the village.
Oh yes.
In Manhattan, right? You weren't allowed to bring it anywhere outside of the village. And I remember he taught us how to vogue.
And he was in a Haitian family too. Like, let's not forget.
Haitian family. He graduated from Yale University. Whoa. He got his master's from UCLA. What? And that did not stop my family from basically ostracizing him. And I think he felt so tormented by the family that he basically left New York. And I'll be honest, that has to be the nicest guy I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
Until now, I sometimes I sit and I flash back at my childhood and how many great things he introduced me to. So when I think about him and I think about him exposing me to so much culture, Like, he brought us to the movie theater because he was a film major. So he brought us to the movie theater. He did those amazing things with us. He took us to the museum. And I'm like, if not for him, I wouldn't have such a love of club music. I wouldn't have such a love of being different and not like following trends, but creating trends. Like, I learned all those things from him. So I cannot, ever judge or look down at anyone that quote unquote doesn't fit what society has taught us is supposed to be the norm, male and female. No, that because of my family member, right? Because of the love that I have for him, it's like I'm forced to love others like him because I realize how many great things he brought to the table.
Absolutely.
He's just an amazing guy. So anytime I ever think about him, it forces me to be more open-minded.
Wow.
It forces me to not, tell my kids get on the boy and girl line. Now I actually say form two lines. So I'm being very purposeful in the language that I use because our kids are going through it. They're confused. Adults are confused. So I'm working at it. I'm a work in progress, but
absolutely.
I am working at it. I know that it's not easy for people that may not have been born the way that they are, or society may not be suitable for them. Think about being that left-handed person. Yeah. And every time you sit at a chair, the chairs are made for right-handed people. So that's how I look at things sometimes.
Absolutely.
How hard that must be to go through life where nothing is meant for you. Right? You have to find a way to push your way through it. So that's my take on it. I know it's hard, especially coming from Haitian culture where, the views that our culture has.
I know. And let me ask you, do you ever stay in touch with this cousin or no?
I do. He lives in California.
Okay, that's good.
His birthday is actually on Halloween.
Oh wow.
So every once in a while I'll message him, and at random I messaged him a few months ago and I was like, you know what, I just want to say thank you for always being there and kind of just taking care of us. Like, he took care of me and all of my other little cousins, like taking care of us and just guiding us and bringing culture to us. Like, I'm telling you, this guy, we were voguing in my aunt's basement. He turns off all the lights, pulls out the flashlight, and I'm like, whoa.
What is
this? Our own show going on here.
What is going on? You're absolutely right. And it's them who always, it's their whole culture to be so expressive and to be so open. But, it's funny because I like how you identified that situation with the whole left-handed, right-handed thing, because back in the day, believe it or not, people, they used to kill people that were left-handed. They used to kill people for a lot of different reasons, and people had to fight for them to have their equal rights and things of that nature. So I totally get it, and it's just so sad that people do that. But I'm still kind of on the fence though about like the whole trans community and things like that. I hate to admit it, but I'm still kind of like, yeah, it's a lot for me because I'm still kind of old school. But I love that you have expressed that, my beautiful sister, because we have to be more open and more, I guess, because times are changing anyway. It's like you get on the boat or you get left behind on the seashore or something. Got to get on that boat or you're not going to be able to be a part of the trends. And either way, life is moving forward with or without you. So I've learned that, and all I can do is try my best to go with the flow. But I'm such an old school person when it comes to that. But in essence, we know that either way, children need really great role models and really great inspiration in order to be the very best that they can be. So no matter which way it goes, whether it's with two men who identify as female or two women who identify as whatever, I guess I'm trying to say if they have good hearts and they really care, then they can show the children the right way. Is which way I'm going with that, because it doesn't mean that they're bad people. when they have a different outlook. And just like Fancy was saying in regards to her own family member, he was ostracized to the point that he had to relocate, which is a lot of people in that community. But we have to find goodness in our hearts and ourselves to help others see the goodness inside of them and to help navigate the next generation, irregardless of what you identify as. But I'll never forget too, Fancy, coming into these Zoom meetings. And it just recently happened during this whole COVID thing where they're like asking you to identify. I'm like, identify to what? I'm a female with a vagina. What do you want me to say? Like, I'm one of those that goes into these meetings like, I don't get it. Like, I have a vagina and breasts. What do you want me to say? Oh yeah, other people are now having vaginas and breasts too. So I guess I am a she, I think, or what, My doctor says I have a lot of testosterone. I'm confused, but it is what it is. Woo, what a subject. I mean, oh my God, we could be on this all freaking night because this is such a heavy, heavy topic. And we have so many comments that have come in. Thank you for everybody that's tuned in and who will tune in and still leave comments about this because it is a heavy topic. And we want people to know that we are here not to judge anybody. Like Fancy said, this is not about judging. This is not about judging at all. It's literally sharing somebody's story that is so heartbreaking because at the very end of the day, this woman could have been alive right now if she was open and honest, and also if she was able to come to terms with the fact that she's probably beautiful no matter what. So with that being said, and Fancy, I wanted you to stick around for just 2 more minutes. But this is the launching of the new website we have. FEG Management made some changes. As you all know, as a business owner, just to let you all know, you can't stay the same. You can't stay stagnated. So we had to get a new company website to share the different work and the different platforms that we have here in this company and under this umbrella. As you know, too, we have been offering new services and things of that nature. So the FEG Management branch and umbrella is the overall parent company, FEG Management LLC. And the FEG stands for Freedom Entertainment Group, which is the name of my first company, which I'm going to keep. But I just, shortened it for the purpose of shortening that long name. And so I am the founder and CEO, as you can see. Once you see these different tabs, everybody, it's easier to navigate. You can definitely click on to the different, learn more, to learn more about, who we are, what we do. Now, here's the thing I wanted to share because obviously with the platform that we have, we definitely wanted to share that we are offering advertisement services to the community. And why? It's because we have a lot of access to a lot of great people. AniYa has over 500,000 people that she can expose your brand to and help your business grow. That's the main initiative of the advertisement services because a lot of people need more exposure. And I will definitely expose your company and your brand and what have you to many countries through my talk show and my social media, click on this link below. You can learn a lot more about those services. You can email us at info@fegmgmt.com. I think it's info@fegmgmt.com. Don't forget, we have networking services and a platform for PR, as well as the NBSA platform, which is how I have my my nonprofit. Thank you, nonprofit. Platform is all intertwined because we haven't done too much as of late with the NVSA situation because of the pandemic. I am not putting myself at risk going out into these streets trying to cure violence when the violence is still going to be there. But NVSA stands for Neighborhood Violence Survivors Alliance. And it basically, what we do with that is this survivors of neighborhood violence coming together for support through events, positive entertainment, educational forums, and networking. So we started that a few years ago. We're going to add more to every platform so you can see our work. Obviously, you're on the AniYa show now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So we have different episodes that are lined up for you here. I think Fancy's interview should be one of them that is popping up. We're still making a few different changes to the platform. But Fancy, I did see your interview when we were behind the scenes making some changes. So I'll see where that's at, Miss Fancy, because your interview was a great one as well. So we're going to be constantly updating the platform. And then, of course, I think we have a lovely slideshow presentation down at the bottom. But yeah, that's the surprise. Yeah, can't sorry, somebody's messaging now. Send all your messages in if you have any questions or concerns, everybody. Send your messages in for sure. We want to hear from you. But yeah, that's the new platform and what we're working on. We're super excited about the different changes that we have going on here at FEG Management. I wanted to save that for last. As you all know, oh yeah, the Dr. Oz thing is popping up. I was a contributor with Dr. Oz for 5 years. But as you know, Dr. Oz is now running for office. So therefore, we cannot be on the Dr. Oz show. But that's why I also took the opportunity to have my own platform and do what I do best. And I've taken what I've learned from Dr. Oz, especially, and I've made it my own so that I can work with those in my community to make sure that we have exposure, we have a platform, and we also have the ability to advertise for our people who have great events and great products each and every day. So that's the surprise there. You all can go to www.fegmgmt.com. Again, that FEG that everybody always asks me about, it stands for Freedom Entertainment Group. Freedom Entertainment Group is the name of my initial company. And now we've just taken FEG and turned it into a branding and advertisement source for the people. So we want to work with all of you, and we do this every day between the shows, the events, the interviews, and things of that nature. So, oh, real quick, they just passed the law in Tampa, Florida. If you get caught saying the gay, you will be arrested. So does that mean if you get caught saying that people are gay in Florida, you get arrested? Fancy, have you heard about that real quick? I'm just literally.
I have not.
Okay, I just am hearing this information now. Apparently something about if you get caught saying something about being gay, you get thrown in jail or criticizing, meaning you're not to criticize the gay. So does that mean if you criticize gay people, you can get arrested, or is it that if you are against people that are gay, you get arrested? Please clarify, Pamela Clark, because she's sending in messages now. And again, I don't have any problems with the LGBTQ 6973 community. It's a lot of acronyms, a lot of numbers or whatever. I have no problems with this community, but I'm just old school in my thinking. And a lot of the trans things are kind of like, ooh, a lot. So I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's just a lot. It's a lot for us to deal with in 2022. Office for what? Dr. Oz? No. So I have the AniYa show because I love being on television and I love to network. We have to get this newspaper recording, this newspaper out because it's kind of blurry right there. Because Pamela and other people that may be wondering, I was on Dr. Oz show for 5 years. There'll be more pictures uploaded. There's a whole tab for Dr. Oz. Matter of fact, let's check it out and see if you can see what I mean. I was with the Dr. Oz show for actually more than 5 years, 2015 to like 2015 to 2022. That's actually like 7 years being a part of the Dr. Oz family. And, I would actually literally if I would literally be on the Dr. Oz show, and they would also have me bring in guests and everything to help them get, more viewership and things like that. So I was actually a part of the team that helped connect Dr. Oz to other potential people or great talents and things of that nature. And so that was one of the things that I did for Dr. Oz. So I said that to say I've always wanted my own platform. And I have a whole business plan about, the AniYa show under the FEG management umbrella. And literally what happened was during the pandemic, it was the perfect time to take that leap of faith because what else was I going to do at home all day? And if y'all remember my old setup, Pamela, you were on the show like every night with me. You remember Pamela, I had the whole different setup because I'm still growing and still producing. I have a goal and an agenda, So what I'm doing is I'm taking baby steps to that next level and those, next, the next journey, which is having my own studio and space to have the AniYa show. So that's what I wanted to share. So being on the Dr. Oz show, being that I was one of the on-air talents, a contributor, and I was constantly doing, the work behind the scenes. I got to learn a lot about major productions. I have a background in television and radio. Not that I studied television and radio, mind you. I literally have a background because of my talent, my raw talent in entertainment. So I was a TV producer for another major network, which God has blessed me. I'm not going to lie. TBN, Trinity Broadcast Network, which is the largest Christian television network in the world. So I was a producer at the Fort Pierce branch many years ago, right before I fell sick. And then I got promoted to assistant director, and then I did a lot of on-air talent stuff and got to interview a whole lot of people. So it's been a work in progress for me to do what I'm doing now, for those that are wondering. But Dr. Oz, I went to Dr. Oz and Fancy. I don't even know if you know the story about Dr. Oz and me. The reason why I got to be on the Dr. Oz show was because I wrote into the show one day and I literally was like, hey, I'm really sick with this rare condition. Dr. Oz is probably the only person that can help me because none of these doctors in Florida could really help me. And I was dying, but I'm okay now. However, my condition is like kind of weird and I need help. My email stated other stuff, obviously much more information and things like that. But that's the gist of it. And I remember 6 months later, the producers hit me up and were like, oh my God, are you serious about your story? I was like, yes. And they were like, oh, would you like to be on the show? I was like, absolutely. Because I thought I was going on the show for Dr. Oz to help me with this rare condition that I have. I get on the show. They love my personality. They're like, not believing, excuse me, that I was ever sick. And it turned into like a 7 year like love relationship with Dr. Oz. Not love in a sexual way, but just like we were very, very cool. And then the pandemic hit after about 5 years, and then nobody could be on air. We would do everything through Zoom, which I kept missing the Zooms, but that's okay because the last show I did with Dr. Oz was the last one before he ended up running for office because he's running on the Republican ticket now somewhere in Philly, I think, to be a senator. So that's the whole gist of the whole Dr. Oz thing for those that are wondering. And there you have it, folks. But he never really investigated my medical condition, which sucks. But that's okay because I'm doing a whole lot better and God has healed me. So I feel great these days and my condition has gotten better. But then again, I ended up getting pregnant with a super miracle rare baby. And now I'm dealing with a whole nother lot of stuff. But that's another story for another day. And speaking of, and Fancy, here's what I wanted to share about that. I know we're going to be shutting down in just a few moments, but like after I give birth to this human that's like beating me up on the inside, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm just going to work out a lot, after I give birth, because at the end of the day, I don't see myself going in for another surgery because it's so painful and it's so risky to have these surgeries, like these BBLs and all this, especially after what we keep learning and seeing in the media. I might have to deal with a nasty, weight gain thing, after I give birth. My prayer, though, is that I potentially am able to drop the weight very quickly, naturally. But other than that, I will be in the gym because my hubby is a workout fanatic and he's always in the gym. So we're in the gym together. However, I don't foresee myself getting a BBL or any other surgeries about, weight loss because it's so painful and it's very, very hard on the body, not just physically, mentally as well. So I just wanted to share that publicly and openly. I may not ever have another weight loss thing happen because those things are serious. But with that being said, oh, and then Pamela Clark says, yes, talk about them bad. So you can get arrested apparently in Florida if you talk about the gay community in a bad way. So that's interesting. And I do know that something just happened with Disney World or Disneyland or whichever one is in Orlando. I think it's Disney World. Whereas I think they're getting their rights revoked or taken away from them for whatever reason. Don't quote me on that. When it comes to Florida, I try to stay away, honey, because Florida is not my cup of tea. All right. Well, Sister Fancy, honey, was there anything else that you wanted to share before we shut it down for tonight?
Congratulations on your updating your website and kind of refocusing the direction that you want your company to go. That's very exciting. You have a lot of new things happening for you. That's awesome. The baby's going to bring you a lot of good luck. And it's going to be a great year, honestly speaking. Honestly speaking.
I appreciate you.
I look forward to being part of the process somehow, you know?
Absolutely. So, and we've been in talks.
I believe it's going to be a great year for you.
Thank you. And we've been in talks. So I know that you're definitely a part of everything happening because we've been in talks and the energy is there and we just have to, try to get things together. Hello, Jerry Dumas. It has been so long, my friend. Welcome to the AniYa platform. You're listening to myself and Sister Fancy as we discuss a very, very hot topic for tonight. So I thank you, my dear Fancy, because at the end of the day, I need all the positive energy, I can get because, sometimes in life, and I'm pretty sure you know this too, Fancy, you try something new, you try to put your best foot forward, you try to utilize all of your creative energies to do what you're passionate about, and then you get beat down and you get beat down and you get beat down. Then you get the haters that 1 minute are cool with you, but then the next minute when you're really trying to refocus and realign and trying to live out your best life and do what you've dreamt about, you realize that those that you thought were for you really aren't for you, and I experience that all the time. I don't often talk about it, but it's funny because it's like when you're down and out, or when people feel like you don't have anything good going for you, or you're in a midst of your storm, you'll see that people will be around you. I think, like they say, to like learn of your business, like the bad things that you're going through. But as soon as things start taking off in a right path for you, in the best direction for you, guess what? You see that their energy is different and they kind of fade away. And they are not supportive because they might have expected one thing from you, or they wanted something bad to happen to you secretly in their hearts because they really never cared. But I'll say this, I am so happy when those things happen, Fancy, because I know for a fact that when those things happen, it's God showing me that I couldn't take them with me to the next level anyway, because there's a lot of things that I've done that people don't even know, in a good sense, of course, right? And isn't until after they find out, and when they hear something new that's happening with me, for example, and I'm sure, Fancy, because this probably has happened to you as well, or Sister Pam, and then all of a sudden they reappear. And it's like because they heard something, but in the midst of the process, they were there too, but they decided to step away because of their own feelings or their own identity really revealing themselves that they really never were there to support. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But again, I thank you, Fancy, and I know that we have a lot to do together in our communities, and we are going to achieve great things because we care about the people. I think that is it. That is all. That is it. That is all. And of course, you'll let us know what you have going on with your product line, Fancy. And then we're supposed to be doing some great things for the women and some initiatives we'll be talking about once those things come into fruition, and once we start doing much more, we'll let the community know. Yes, they will do that. That's sad, but they do that. Absolutely. That's life. That is absolutely positively life, Sister Pam from Cheetahwaga Buffalo. So you could either when those types of things happen, you could either be really down and out and feel so broken because you don't have the support, or you could keep pushing forward without their support because they were never really supporters. They were actually haters. So whenever I find out somebody's true colors, I serve them that same energy that they served me. Woohoo! I have to give myself a big cheers for that one. But yes, Fancy, thank you, my love. And I know we have so much to do. Speaking of, let me re-promote May 1st, DJ Scripts. Fancy, will you be there on May 1st, by the way? Let me bring up that flyer.
I realized I have a wedding in Boston, and it just hit me that I have a wedding in Boston May 1st.
Wow. That's a busy time.
I have a wedding in Boston, and yeah.
Oh man, I was hoping that you were going to be there. No, that's a busy time.
All this time, I really, I have it's a tested exam. For our babies, our elementary and junior high school students. So I think my mind is so caught up to school.
Right.
That, school is closed actually the day after. School is closed for Eid, the Muslim holiday.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, wait a minute, school closes already? I'm confused. Oh, wow. These kids get a.
They have a day off. It's a Muslim holiday.
Oh, okay. So it's Muslim, not Jewish. I was gonna say these kids get a lot of Jewish holidays. Boy, I tell you. But either way, when I was growing up, did we have a Eid? Did we have a Eid back in the day? I don't know.
No, we didn't have any. No, they just started giving Eid.
Interesting, because they were probably like, the Jewish people get a bunch of holidays, so do the African Americans. The Muslim people were like, we need our holiday too. I love it. Go ahead, Mr. and Mrs. Muslim people. Go ahead, y'all. Do your thing. Oh, here we go. Right here. This is the event. I'm so sorry Fancy won't be there, but I will definitely be there to represent for us. Oh, Sheikh Musa Drama liked our post just now, liked our live when you said that. So that means Sheik has been watching. Hey, Sheik, you see, we're talking about your Muslim people. You have a holiday coming up, Sheik Musa Drama. You're going to have to come on the show and talk to us about this Eid holiday, which is a Muslim holiday that apparently you beautiful and sexy Muslim people were able to get in the books, because now we have a holiday called Eid. And I was just asking my sister Fancy, who's a teacher, to tell me more about this Eid, because I had never heard of it. So now we have the Eid thing happening. And I'm proud of my Muslim brothers, and sisters who are fighting for their rights to get themselves acknowledged as well. Can you all see my flyer here that I've posted? I see on Facebook it's not showing the flyer that I'm posting for DJ Scripts. Hold on, let me double check. Welcome, Sabrina.
I don't see the flyer. There's something that's popping up that says OneDrive isn't signed in.
I see that now. Why is that happening? Am I not? Wait. Okay, stop share. But the other website showed, right? My website showed moments ago.
Yeah, we were able to see the website. Maybe you could just tell them the time.
Okay, I'll do that.
The location and the contact number. Oh, there it goes. It's showing now.
Oh, perfect. Okay, because I was so conflicted. I went out and came back in. So for those that are watching now, we are supporting our brother DJ Scripts, and let him know that I'm talking about him now, because he has a powerful event coming up on May 1st. AniYa will be there live at that event on May 1st. Ooh, 12 to 8 p.m. I probably will be there by like maybe 2 or so. Don't get me started. I will not be there at 12. Your girl's coming from uptown, honey. So therefore, don't look for me at 12 p.m. But you can find me after 12 p.m. for sure. And I'll probably be there till about 8 p.m. This is going to be the Legal Dope Pusher pop-up shop and video premiere. And if you don't know anything about DJ Scripts, go ahead and Google him now. We just interviewed him on our show, I want to say last week or so, and he did such a phenomenal job dropping them gems. You're all invited, and there'll be music, there'll be liquor. DJ Scripts is actually, I think, one of a co-owner of this location we're going to at 1238 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. And it's sponsored by the official Bel-Air, music by DJ Thoro from This Is Fitty, and hosted by Melanin Boss. So go ahead and check that out. May 1st, 12 to 8 p.m. AniYa will be there with a table. You can see me. I'll be live too. I'll be, pushing the whole live agenda thing to show mad support for our brother DJ Scripps. And as you can see, Legal Dope Pusher is his brand. So if you see that around town, that's DJ Scripps' brand. And we just wanted to let you all know now that he is a brother on the move. And I'm so proud of DJ Scripps. Funny enough, Sister Fancy knows him too. And I was just like, this is such a small and beautiful world that we are a part of. Fancy, why don't you tell us about, or if it's okay to tell us about, I think there was a show or something that you all did together. That is so crazy and amazing.
Yeah, the name of the show was Delicious Vibes. We actually have a group on Facebook as well, but it was a show that got a chance to interview influential folks in the community. We would go out and eat at certain locations. That's why we called it Delicious. So it's a concept of combining food, great conversation, great people, and it was a great show. It was exciting. People tend to have fun. So we had actors, we had artists, we had Mercedes. She's a political figure in Brooklyn. She's a congressperson. That was the last interview we did. We also had Tiffany Tucker that was running for Congress against Mercedes. So we got a chance to interview both people right before the final vote. So yeah, we got a chance to sit with some of DJ Evil D, which was very old school rap music, if you know anything about that, and some Haitian artists as well. So it was a great show. I mean, COVID put a slowdown on things, but we're not stopping. It's just a slowdown, Sometimes the comeback is better than the actual setup. So
I love it.
You pause, it come back stronger.
Absolutely. And you know what? During this COVID season is where I've met so many of you great influencers and great people. I had heard about DJ Script and his movie many moons ago, right? About the movie that he had initially, the documentary, the Haitian Polo documentary, I feel like. And I didn't know how I was going to be able to meet him and thank him for all the work that he was doing for our community as Black people, as Haitian people, actually, because that was such a horrific era that Haitians have gone through and what we've endured with the bullying and all of the problems. And then literally God had it lined up where I got to meet DJ Scripps, and now I'm a part of his documentary. Now it's like full circle. We're working together. I'm promoting his stuff frequently. He came on the show, and I mean, you have a great, rapport with him, and you've worked with him. I mean, full circle, things are happening during the pandemic. And like I always tell people, you just never know. You just got to keep moving forward. Had either of us given up, Fancy, forever and a day ago, we would have never met. We would have never been here doing what we're doing now. But there's a power in never giving up. And that's the thing that I love about Scripps too, and why I promote him so heavy, because this brother has ideas and then he goes for them. He's like, I want to have a shirt, a whole brand about Legal Dope Pusher, because if you know anything about DJ Scripps, you'll know he's actually a real pharmacist in real life. He's a medically trained legal dope pusher. He is a pharmacist by day and a creative by night. And I think that deserves so much respect. Give it up for DJ Scripps for, being this Haitian man coming to America, I think at the age of 5, and literally accomplishing all of these dreams and these goals. And now he is living his best life as a DJ, as a creative designer, as like an architect of his own space and his own dreams and world. I mean, if that's not commendable, I don't know what is. So we can learn a lot from DJ Scripps, and I'm so proud of him again. I'm so proud of you, Fancy, for you never giving up. Fancy showed me a video clip of her last week. I don't even want to talk about it publicly. I want Fancy. I need us to come back together, and you need to talk about that experience because we're pushing on 10:30. But have you overcome that situation, Fancy, real quick in Harlem? Have you overcome, sis? Have you overcome?
You know what? I enjoy every experience. That's my motto in life. Try to really enjoy everything that's happening while it's happening. Be in the moment and
Absolutely.
make the best of every moment. So I don't say it, I live by it. And that's what that video was.
Yes.
I live by it, honestly speaking.
Yes, you did, sis. And for those that don't know what the heck we're talking about, don't worry, we're going to come back. We're going to show that video clip. It just dawned on me that my sister is one of those pushers as well. She ain't pushing that legal dope, but she is pushing the hell out of that business. And she's letting them know in these streets, wherever she is, no matter what's going on, she gonna make you know what she working on. Okay, so there you have it, folks. We'll come back and we'll do a whole interview about that maybe next week because we have a few things lined up this week. But I think next week will be a great time for us to share that with your consent, Fancy, so that people could really hear and see what you went through, but how you were motivated enough to keep moving forward. I think that is the major takeaway. Agreed?
Definitely.
Thank you, sister. I am so proud of you. And we have to come back together. And again, guys, join us. Well, join myself, DJ Scripts, and the other members of our community on May 1st from 12 to 8 p.m. AniYa will be broadcasting live there sometime after 12, maybe a little bit after 1. You know, it takes me a while to wobble my butt anywhere I got to go. So let's keep that in mind. But you're all invited, as it says here. It's the DJ Scripts Present Legal Dope Pusher pop-up shop and video premiere. That will be May 1st from 12 to 8. And the address is 1238 Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York. If you need to, have any questions or concerns, reach out to DJ Scripts right on his platform. Oh, I thought it was here, but oh yeah, it's right here. Junior Scripts Ram is his name, or you could go to his other page, which is where we got this information from, Scripts TV. You can check him out on Scripts TV. All right, guys. So continue to be blessed. And then check out our documentary. I'm in a documentary, The Influencer, with DJ Scripts. And that's all we have for now, guys. Thank you again to Miss Fancy and to everybody else that tuned in. To my sister, Pamela Clark from Cheetahwaga, Buffalo. Christine Harlings, all the way from England, who was on with us this evening. Chic Drama Musa, who literally stopped in and shared a like. Jerry Dumas, we haven't seen your face in so long, but we're so happy that you are here. Sorry. So we're so happy that Mr. Jerry was here for that as well tonight, reconnecting. Let's follow up after tonight for sure. And for anybody else, Alexis, thank you for sharing the story with us. That was so powerful that you shared the story with us about this BBL and this young sister, Shakari Love. Y'all pray for her family as she is deceased presently, but pray for her family and her children because now they're going to be without a mother during these critical years of their lives. And these children are young, apparently. So that breaks my ever-loving heart. All right, guys. Thank you again. And we're going to shut it down for now. And if I've missed anybody this evening, you already know I got baby brain. Good night, everybody. Love you lots. Bye.
Recording stopped.
All right. We did that thing. Recording stopped. We're done. Child, I got so much to do. But we happy. And we did that thing, honey. Oh, good night.